Yards littered with garbage causing quite the eyesore in a local neighborhood. How city leaders plan to deal with the problem. Plus, evacuations are underway in Haiti as that country spirals out of control amid a renewed surge of gang violence.
Beautiful day today. Lots of sunshine and comfortable temperatures, even warmer for the upcoming week.
Mountain News, first at 4, continues.
Officials in one Letcher County town are encouraging folks to clean up around their yards. WYMT's RJ Johnson has more from Jenkins.
Some people in the city of Jenkins have been complaining about people not taking care of their yard by leaving garbage and other items, making it an eyesore to see. After Mayor Todd DePriest was alerted about some of the concerns, he says he and city officials began discussing ways to help the issue. Each spring, the city hosts citywide pickups for folks to dispose of anything they do not want. He says this year they are increasing more chances for people to clean up their yards.
So people are allowed to get stuff out to the edge of the curb and we pick it up, unless it's tires or some kind of construction debris. Normal household trash we'll pick up and stuff they want to get rid of. And then this year we're going to add something to it. We're going to have a citywide cleanup day where we're going to get volunteers involved to go out in the neighborhoods and try to pick up a little more than we usually do.
DePriest says this is just one way that they're helping encourage folks to better clean up their city. I'll have more tonight at 6 on some of the consequences some can face. But for now, in Jenkins, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
DePriest says citywide pickups will begin April 15th and last until May 10th. He adds the cleanup day will be on April 27th. A big shakeup in Kentucky athletics today. Kyra Elsie is out as the head coach of Kentucky women's basketball. UK Athletics Director Mitch Barnhart announced Elsie was relieved of her duties. Elsie took over the helm, replacing Matthew Mitchell in 2020. She led the team to the SEC tournament title in 2022. Before her 4 seasons as head coach, Elsie served at 8 years as an assistant coach. In a statement, Barnhart thanked Elsie for her efforts on and off the court. UK Athletics says it will begin a national search for a new head coach. We'll have more on Elsie and more honors for Reed Shepherd on the men's basketball team. That's coming up during sports later tonight.
Hope you had a chance to enjoy the nice weather today because it looks like it's going to be so nice for the week ahead. Yeah, many days of nice conditions. Get ready for it. Enjoy it if you can. Mid-50s right now here in Moorhead, enjoying the sunshine, and Whitesburg seeing lots of sunshine as well. Mostly clear skies and dry weather at 50 degrees. Let's check the current conditions here on into Hazard, where we have sunshine over the area right now. Just a few wispy clouds you have to look very, very close to see right over the horizon. Here's the temperatures. You see lots of readings in the low and mid 50s, even some upper 50s towards Jacksboro, Middlesboro, Monticello, and also Harlan. Again, great day today, even better weather conditions coming for the rest of the week. You'll look back to our east this morning. There were a few clouds off into West Virginia. That's it. They quickly zipped to the east, and notice our satellite loop here at 12 hours doesn't show a cloud at all. And you look all the way back through the Central Plains and even portions of the Southern Plains. It's dry, it's quiet. It's not even too many clouds here to talk about. Some moisture to our south will eventually pool along with a system back to our northwest, and all of that will come together late at the end of the week to bring in some rain. But short term here, we're looking dry and quiet. Temps fall out of the 50s and 40s this evening into the 20s and 30s tomorrow morning. All the full 7-day forecast, of course, coming up.
All right, Mace, thank you. With the expansion of the Mountain Parkway comes a lot of development in the mountains, but one family says the plans are leaving some of them on the curb. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more from Magoffin County.
To many people, this just looks like a wooden stake, but to the Arnett family, it looks like a step toward the loss of a lifetime of memories. Janet Arnett has lived on her Magoffin County property for 55 years, buying 62 acres in 1969 and living in mobile units on the land until building her current home in 1998, all with her late husband Lowell by her side. Now, nearly 9 years after his death, Arnett says she is losing her home due to the expansion of the Mountain Parkway, saying the new McGoffin-Floyd segment will run directly through the spot where her house now sits. So she is begging those who are making the decisions to find another way.
I mean, if they want to build the road, that's fine, but just leave me alone. Build it in front of me, build it behind me. You know, I just want to stay at my house here.
The family says they just hope someone with more influence will step up and make sure this road doesn't ruin everything they know. In McGoffin County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Arnett says she has tried to get those in charge to agree to let her move her house to a lower spot on the land closer to the current 2-lane, but has not made progress with her pleas. You'll hear more about the family's fight coming up tonight at 6. There are new signs of tension between President Biden and Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu over the war in Gaza. The Israeli prime minister is pushing back against the president's comments last week when President Biden said Netanyahu is hurting Israel more than he's helping it. Amid the mounting humanitarian crisis in Gaza, Israel plans to invade Rafah. It is a Hamas stronghold, but also a refuge to more than 1 million Palestinians. President Biden was asked if that would be a red line.
The defense of Israel is still critical, so there's no red line. I'm going to cut off all weapons, but there's red lines that if it crosses, and you cannot have 30,000 more Palestinians.
Red line.
Dead.
You know what the red line is? That October 7th doesn't happen again. Never happens again.
President Biden is still pushing for a ceasefire in exchange for dozens of Israeli hostages, but despite Israel's punishing ground offensive and now the start of Ramadan, Hamas refuses to make a deal. The international community is watching nervously as Haiti continues to be overtaken by gang violence. The situation is becoming increasingly dire after a massive prison break earlier this month. The country's prime minister is currently staying in Puerto Rico after a diplomatic trip to Kenya to lobby for security backing. Gang members are calling for his ouster. Meanwhile, the U.S. military has fortified the U.S. embassy there and evacuated all non-essential personnel.
Port-au-Prince itself is basically landlocked by gangs that control all of the major roads out of the capital. There are no international flights. There are no domestic flights to get to the north, which, remains relatively calm.
Right now, Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Jamaica meeting with Caribbean leaders to address the ongoing crisis. History is made as a new flag waves outside NATO headquarters in Brussels. After a long and contentious process sparked by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Sweden has been officially welcomed as the 32nd member of the world's largest military alliance. After the flag was raised, the Swedish Crown Prince and Swedish Prime Minister joined NATO members to take a group photo. Just north of New York City, an extraordinary library of popular music is in desperate need of a new home. There are about 3 million recordings in this collection, everything from signed copies of Johnny Cash to bootlegs pressed onto X-rays and smuggled into the Soviet Union. The archive of contemporary music came to this farm 4 years ago after decades in New York City, but the land is zoned agricultural, so they'll need to move again. Director B. George says preserving physical copies in this digital age is more important than ever.
Because will the internet be the internet as we know it in 10 or 20 years?
Yeah.
All that stuff could disappear like it disappeared with early iPods. You just lost your stuff. We have an impossible task.
Yeah.
It may never be finished.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We do our best.
George hopes to transition from an archive to a center for popular music. To change locations, he says he needs one thing to make it happen: money. Coming up on First at 4, there's a lot of buzz surrounding the Oscars Best Picture Oppenheimer, but there's more to the story about people getting sick for living in the wrong place.
Beautiful day coming up tomorrow, just like today. Lots of sunshine, no travel problems, back and forth to work or school as we look for sunshine. All of the full 7-day forecast, which looks pretty warm, coming up.